The Ural Mountains in January 1959. A vast, icy expanse remote from civilization and utterly unforgiving. A place where survival demanded respect and preparation. The wind howled relentlessly, carrying with it the bite of extreme cold. 9 young, ambitious hikers from the Ural Polytechnical Institute embarked on a challenging expedition, their destination, Otorten. Otorten, a formidable peak whose very name in the local Mansi language carries a stark warning: don't go there. A place shrouded in folklore and whispered tales of danger. The group was led by the experienced and resourceful 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, a natural leader known for his calm demeanor and meticulous planning. They weren't reckless adventurers. They were the best, highly skilled, officially certified mountaineers, and meticulously prepared with top-of-the-line Soviet equipment for the harshest winter conditions the Urals could throw at them. Their ambitious journey was meticulously documented every step of the way. Cameras captured their every move, diaries chronicled their thoughts and experiences, laughter echoed through the valleys, and a strong sense of camaraderie bound them together, all frozen in time by black and white photos. Among them was the ever-optimistic Zinaida Komogorova, her smile radiating warmth even in the frigid air. Lyudmila Dubinina, a thoughtful and observant member, whose last diary entry reveals her awe and wonder at the majestic beauty of the surrounding mountains. And Yuri Yudin, the 10th member of their party, who made the difficult decision to turn back early due to a debilitating illness, unwittingly saving himself from a fate he could never have imagined. The experienced group carried everything they believed they needed for the trek: sturdy skis for navigating the deep snow, layers of warm clothing to combat the biting cold, and a generous supply of food, enough to sustain them for a triumphant return journey. Their personal journals brimmed with lively songs, passionate debates about life and philosophy, and the undeniable thrill of embarking on a challenging adventure into the unknown. The meticulously planned itinerary called for them to trek through the dense, snow-covered taiga, navigate treacherous mountain passes, conquer the summit of Otorten, and, upon their successful descent, send a celebratory telegram back home by February 12th, signaling their achievement to the world. As they pressed deeper into the heart of the Ural Mountains, the landscape grew increasingly harsh and unforgiving. The once dense trees began to thin out, the wind howled with increasing ferocity, and the already frigid temperatures plummeted even further. Yet, despite the increasingly challenging conditions, their personal writings revealed no hint of fear or apprehension, only unwavering determination and a steadfast commitment to reaching their goal. On the fateful day of February 1st, they made their final camp for the night, choosing a seemingly sheltered location on the windswept slopes of Kolatsyakl, Dead Mountain, a name that, in a cruel twist of fate, would soon prove to be chillingly prophetic, forever linking their story to the mountain's ominous reputation. The last photos they snapped and the final diary entries they penned serve as a haunting broadcast from the very edge of the known world, a glimpse into their final hours. They were, by all accounts, exactly where they wanted to be, fully embracing the challenge they had so eagerly sought out, confident in their abilities and prepared for whatever lay ahead. But little did they know, as they settled into their tents for the night, that no one could have possibly imagined the bizarre and terrifying way their story would ultimately end. The unforgiving wilderness was poised to claim them, and in doing so, their legend, shrouded in mystery and speculation, was about to begin, captivating the world for decades to come. The Dyatlov group was a team of seasoned adventurers, individuals who had faced the elements before and emerged stronger. They were more than just hikers. They were experienced mountaineers, skilled skiers, and knowledgeable outdoorsmen and women. They were engineers, physicists, students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, bright minds eager to test their mettle against the unforgiving landscape. They were united by skill and trust, a bond forged in shared experiences and a mutual respect for the power of nature. Each member brought unique expertise to the group, creating a well-rounded and capable team. They were meticulously prepared for avalanches, bone-chilling cold, and any challenge the Siberian winter could throw at them. Their equipment was state-of-the-art for the time, and their training was rigorous. But fate, as it often does, intervened in the most unexpected and cruel way. Yuri Yudin, plagued by illness, was forced to turn back at Vizhai, the last settlement before the wilderness. A painful decision, but a necessary one. He said goodbye to his friends, unaware that this farewell would be their last, a moment frozen in time, forever etched in his memory. Yudin's departure left 7 men, 2 women, all in their prime, full of life and ambition, ready to conquer the Otorten mountain. Their photos after Yudin's exit show high spirits, genuine smiles that reflect the camaraderie and excitement of the adventure. They were digging snow pits for shelter, celebrating a birthday with makeshift treats, full of hope and anticipation for the challenges and rewards that lay ahead. Yudin's later testimony confirmed their meticulous preparation and unwavering unity. Nothing seemed amiss, no hint of the tragedy that was about to unfold. He would later be called upon to perform the agonizing task of identifying their bodies, a grim duty that would haunt him for the rest of his days, a burden of survivor's guilt and unanswered questions he carried for the rest of his life. The group pressed on, a tight-knit family forged by adventure, their footsteps echoing in the vast, silent wilderness. Their strong bond and shared experiences make what happened next all the more baffling and heartbreaking, a mystery that continues to defy explanation. How could such a capable and experienced team, so well prepared and united, meet such a bizarre and inexplicable end? There were no arguments, no signs of internal conflict or distress, nothing to suggest the impending catastrophe. There was just anticipation and excitement for the journey ahead, a sense of adventure, and the thrill of conquering the mountain. The last images captured are innocent and full of life, a stark and unsettling contrast to the unimaginable horror that was about to unfold. Their collective strength, both physical and mental, should have been more than enough to overcome any ordinary challenge. But the mountain, with its secrets and hidden dangers, had other far more sinister plans for the Dyatlov group. When Dyatlov's group missed their February 12th check-in, a prearranged signal to their sports club, alarm bells began to ring. As days passed with no word, concern grew, then dread settled in. The families and friends of the hikers were increasingly worried. By February 20th, with no sign of the group, search parties, students eager to help, teachers offering their expertise, and even military personnel scoured the snowbound wilderness, battling the harsh Ural mountain winter. On February 26th, after days of fruitless searching, a pilot spotted a tent on Kolatsyakal slope, the mountain of the dead. It was nearly buried, ripped and battered by the relentless wind. The ground team reached the site and found the tent slashed open from the inside, a scene suggesting a desperate, hurried escape. The camp's location itself was odd, exposed to the elements, not sheltered by the nearby forest as experienced hikers like Dyatlov's group would normally choose. Inside, their belongings were neatly arranged: boots, coats, ample food supplies, and even untouched vodka, a staple for braving the cold. It looked as if they'd been settling in, preparing for bed, when suddenly, something triggered sheer terror. They'd fled into the -30°C darkness, abandoning everything and barely dressed for the brutal conditions. There were no signs of a struggle within the tent and no other footprints in the snow but their own, leading away from the camp. The scene was a chilling tableau of panic, abandonment, and deepening mystery. Why would 9 experienced mountaineers, experts in their field, abandon their only shelter so suddenly, in such deadly conditions? The searchers stood in the biting wind, surveying the scene, realizing with growing unease that this was no ordinary tragedy, but something far more perplexing. The initial clues only deepened the enigma, raising more questions than answers. The mountain, Kolatsyakal, seemed to guard its secrets closely, and with each new discovery, the story took a darker, more sinister turn. The footprints told a chilling tale. 9 sets, some barefoot, some in socks, heading calmly toward the forest. Under a cedar tree, searchers found a small fire and the bodies of Krivonishenko and Doroshenko, stripped to their underwear, hands burned, branches broken high above. They'd frozen to death, desperately trying to survive. Between the tree and the tent, 3 more bodies: Dyatlov, Kolmogorova, and Slobodin, all appearing to crawl back, all succumbing to hypothermia. Slobodin had a fractured skull, the rest showed no fatal wounds. The remaining 4 hikers were missing. For months the search continued as snow melted. In May, the last 4 were found in a ravine, buried under meters of snow. Their injuries were shocking: massive internal trauma, some missing eyes, and a tongue. These wounds defied explanation. The tragedy had become a mystery. What force had driven them from safety and left such devastation? The answers seem buried with them. The avalanche theory is the official explanation. Snowslides panic a desperate escape. The tent was cut open, the group fled, fearing burial. The camp's location and the snowpack could support this idea. Avalanche experts say even a small slab can be terrifying and deadly. But the evidence doesn't fit no avalanche debris tent, still partly standing ski poles upright. The slope was less steep than typical avalanche zones. The hikers walked away in an orderly fashion, not the chaos of a sudden disaster. Most injuries didn't match avalanche trauma. Dubinina and Zolotaryov suffered massive internal fractures, more like a blast than a crush. The avalanche theory explains some things, but not the most disturbing details. The mystery endures because the facts refuse to align. Something else happened on Dead Mountain. The search for answers continues. The state of the bodies fueled wild theories. Some found nearly naked in the snow, but paradoxical undressing, a symptom of severe hypothermia, offers a rational explanation. As the body shuts down, victims feel burning heat and strip off clothes, hastening death. Krivonishenko and Doroshenko's undress fits this tragic pattern. Terminal burrowing, digging into snow for shelter, may explain the last 4 found in a ravine. Hypothermia can account for some behaviors and deaths, but it doesn't explain the initial panic, the tense slashing, or the catastrophic injuries. Dubinina's missing tongue and eyes could be scavenger activity, but the chest fractures remain a puzzle. Hypothermia is only part of the story. The real trigger remains elusive. The mountain's cruelty is matched only by its mystery. Science explains much but not all. The case refuses to be closed. Some believe the hikers stumbled into a secret Soviet weapons test. The Urals were near military sites. Cold War experiments were common. Witnesses reported strange lights, orange spheres, over the mountains that night. Lead investigator Lev Ivanov later claimed he was pressured to close the case and hinted at a cover-up. Trace radiation was found on some clothing, fueling suspicions. A concussive blast from a test could explain the panic, the injuries, and the government's secrecy. But no missile debris was ever found, and the radiation could have other sources. If a blast caused the trauma, why were some hikers unharmed? No scorched earth, no clear evidence of an explosion. The military theory offers motive for a cover-up, but the physical evidence is ambiguous. The truth may be buried in classified files. The mountain keeps its secrets well. When logic fails, the extraordinary takes hold. Some claim the hikers met a menk, a Siberian yeti, citing blurry photos and Mansi legends. A monstrous encounter could explain the terror and force, but there's no physical evidence, no tracks, no animal wounds. The injuries don't match an animal attack. Other theories are wilder still: alien abduction, secret weapons, or infrasound-induced panic. Infrasound caused by rare wind patterns could trigger irrational fear, but proof is elusive. These ideas persist because the facts are so strange. The unknown fills the void left by unanswered questions. The Dyatlov Pass incident is a magnet for the mysterious. Each theory explains a piece, but none fit the whole. The truth remains just out of reach. Decades later, Dyatlov Pass is still an open wound in the world of mysteries. Officially, it was a compelling natural force, but that answer satisfies no one. The facts are stark. 9 skilled hikers, a slashed tent, a panicked flight, deaths by cold and trauma, strange lights, and a rushed investigation. Theories abound, but none explain everything. The case is a puzzle with pieces that don't fit. The story endures because of its human heart. Young lives, frozen in time, lost to the unknown. Their journey is now legend, a ghost story echoing across the snow. The wind still howls over Dead Mountain, carrying their unanswered questions. Until the truth emerges, the 9 hikers remain forever on the edge of mystery. Their faces haunt the pass, a testament to courage and the limits of understanding. The mountain's silence is the only answer we have.